Hello guys, we're going to be doing a general reading today, just a message for whoever resonates with this message. So if you are drawn to this message, it is most likely for you. We're going to be starting off with one or two empowering questions from Spirit, and then we're going to be expanding on that as we go through the reading with the tarot cards. All right. You guys, your energy is expanding right now. If you guys have been feeling like you guys are extra sensitive, either emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, things are just taking a bit more of a toll on you lately than they would have before. That is definitely the reason. I feel like you guys could definitely be purging a lot of energy from your solar plexus and your sacral chakras. And for some of you guys, also the root chakra is something to very much be looking into. That is your sense of stability, your sense of safety. Yeah, let's just get into it. So we have, how and how often do I give myself permission to enjoy life? How do I feel then? So you guys might not really be enjoying your lives lately. You guys might just be sort of living paycheck to paycheck, or doing what you feel that you need to do, doing what you feel that you're obligated to do, and not leaving any space for what you feel like you want to do. And what Spirit is saying is, if you always do things out of obligation and purely obligation, you're going to feel like obligation runs your life. You're going to feel like it's all work and no play, and you're always going to feel like something is missing, right? Spirit's saying you need to do for you, and then you can do for everyone else. And it's very interesting. I said the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. We have the yellow for the solar plexus and the orange for the sacral. And it's interesting that they have the same design here, because if you look through this deck, there's so many different designs on these cards. So it's very much, do your actions align with what you wish your life to be, right? You wish your life to be this, is this, and that. Well, are you doing the things that would allow you to live a life like that? Are you acting as the person who lives that type of life, or who enjoys that type of thing? If you want this, I'm hearing, if you want this lavish life, for some of you, I'm hearing, I just want to be happy. I just want to be stable. I just want to be good. I just want to be happy. Well, if you want that, you need to start allowing yourself to make yourself happy before you need to start allowing yourself to make yourself happy, regardless, not before, regardless. Because a lot of us were like, well, I'll be happy when I have the car, I'll be happy when I have the house, I'll be happy when I have the relationship. But what we fail to realize sometimes is that the energy comes first, the vibration, the feeling comes first. So if we are looking for the physical manifestation in order to bring that feeling, we are going to constantly be going in circles and constantly be looking and looking and looking, and we're never going to feel satisfied, because sometimes we don't realize it, because we've been stuck in this loop and conditioned to work so that you can have the things that you want, that we either aren't aware of or are simply not believing that the energy always comes first. The happiness is made inside of you. The fulfillment is happening inside of you. It comes to you vibrationally before it comes to you in that physical manifestation. Okay? So how often and how often do you give yourself permission to enjoy life? Really think about that. And then if you guys if you want to expand on it even further, then go and maybe write some things down that you really want to do, that would make you enjoy life, that would make you happy with yourself and your situation, and make you happy just period, and feel a little bit more fulfilled in the moment. And then make a checklist, and then do what you can off of that checklist. And I'm also hearing to chart down how you feel. Maybe a feelings journal would be really good for you guys. We have, what am I thankful for? This is all about in the moment. This is all about making yourself happy and then being thankful for that and then being grateful for that. You do not need anything outside of yourself to make you happy. Yes, there are things materially, physically, and romantically that would add to your happiness, right? I just saw 514, which reduces to 55. There are things in the physical world that would amplify those feelings that you want to feel. However, we need to find that within ourselves before we go looking for it in outside places, right? So what are you thankful for today? And this is, like I said, very much about the present moment, not thinking too far into the future, and also not reminiscing too much in the past that is unhealthy for you. One more, please. Thank you. Yellow again. We have, what kinds of feelings am I feeling right now? Another one about the present moment. Right now is really important for you. What kinds of metaphors can I find to describe my feelings? What kinds of feelings am I feeling right now? What kinds of metaphors can I find to describe my feelings? I'm actually going to switch these two out. I feel like that one needs to be in the middle. Because the sacral and the solar plexus are all about feeling, where so is the heart. Really, all your chakras have that feeling aspect to it, but those chakras really sort of center into the body. The lower three chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, they really ground those feelings, those intentions into the body. And I feel like that's what you guys really need to work on here, is maybe connecting more with your body. I feel like a lot of you guys can find a lot of mental stimulation in a lot of places, but do you ever do anything that physically feels good to you? Right? I heard for some of you, go have sex. All right, can we get one for this? How often do I give myself permission to enjoy life? Can we expand on this, please? The Queen of Swords and the Ace of Cups. You guys are too restrictive on what makes you happy, on what you're allowed to have. It's like there's nothing restricting your happiness, your fun, except for you. Maybe it's like, well, I have all these kids or all this work to do or all this obligation that, you know, I don't have any time to go have fun right now. Why should I be allowed to go do this when my house needs to be cleaned, or when my kids are here, or like when I have this much work to do? It's like you guys are very like, no, I don't deserve this. And that is why you guys are not finding your happiness. That is why it's taking so long to find and feel that fulfillment within yourself, because you're not allowing yourself to. For a lot of you, it could also be a trauma response. When things, you know, like when things start to feel good, I fear them. I push them away, because what happens when they start to feel bad again? You know, it's like not allowing yourself to enjoy what you want to enjoy, or not allowing yourself to have fun, not allowing yourself to feel good. Because what happens when I don't feel like this? What happens when this feeling gets yanked away? What happens when I lose this? Right? It's not allowing yourself to do things, not allowing yourself to have fun. I'm feeling also, for a lot of you guys, this could be not allowing yourself to have new relationships, not allowing yourself to, I just saw 911, which is Archangel Michael's number, not allowing yourself to let anybody or anything in that would at all bring you any type of happiness, because it's like, I don't want to feel that happiness and then have this happiness ripped away from me. I'd rather just not feel that happiness at all. And that's unfortunate, because the only thing that's holding you back from this happiness is you. All right. And Archangel Michael wants to say, like, you don't have to protect yourself. I am protecting you. So you don't have to protect yourself anymore. You can get out of the survival mode. For a lot of you guys, you're living very hard, very majority in survival mode. and Archangel Michael wants to help you to get out of that energy, or out of that feeling that you have to live in survival mode, because it is what has protected you thus far. You're opening a cycle where survival mode is not beneficial for you anymore. Maybe before, the Hierophant right here, maybe before all those survival tactics, you know, all those unhealthy ways of being and acting from the ego, which is your survival mode. At times, ego is unhealthy survival. Let me not, because there's a lot that I could say on that. So acting from the unhealthy ego, which strives to protect you, but protect you from a place that is very rigid, very don't do this, or this will happen, or well, that person can't love you like that. That's the sort of energy that I'm feeling from your guys' ego here. It's very much because the ego is always protecting us, whether that is healthily protecting us, the healthy ego, or unhealthily protecting us, the unhealthy ego. And it's like you guys are moving forward into a cycle where you don't need that, where you can start to transmute that unhealthy ego into healthy ego, which is, like I said, I don't know if I said it before in this reading or if I was thinking it before I started this reading, really, really opening up that discernment. That is one thing that's really coming to you, is opening up that ability to discern things. And that is one thing that happens in people that have a lot of trauma, especially childhood trauma. It's that I'm pretty sure it's your vagus nerve. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but it's a part of your brain. When you have a really, really traumatic childhood or traumatic experience that leaves you really traumatized, what happens is, sometimes, or in most cases, the part of our brain that is that is responsible for telling us what is a threat, what is safe, and what is unsafe, it sort of gets damaged and it gets confused. I just saw 1221. It gets damaged and it gets confused, and then it will tell us that certain things that are not a threat are threats, and certain things that are threats, maybe it won't register them as threats. What it does is it sort of goes backwards a little bit. It'll either hyper focus on something that is not a threat and not dangerous to us, and tell us that this is dangerous and this is a threat, or it'll fail to recognize when there are actually threats present. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, because you've been working so much in survival mode, you've been working so much in survival mode because of traumas that you've went through, and now that part of your brain, it's like it's so traumatized that it's really hard for you to distinguish what is safe and what is not. And for example, I won't give details, but I was sort of, okay, so I know somebody who it's really hard for them sometimes to open up and be vulnerable. And I believe that is because when they were a child and they went through what they went through, a really difficult childhood, being vulnerable was actually not safe. It wasn't something that they could do safely. It wasn't something that was rewarded or acknowledged. It was something that was pushed away. It was something that made them weak. So now it's really difficult for them to be vulnerable in safe situations, because that part of their brain that registers threats is very conflicted, because everything that they've learned before contradicts everything that they're learning now. And it's really hard for them to get out of that sort of trauma response. And I feel like that could be what's happening with you guys here. So let's get to what kind of feelings am I feeling right now? What kinds of metaphors can I find to describe my feelings? I'm sort of getting like a rabbit, like a picture of a rabbit. I know we're in the year of the rabbit, I believe. The priestess. I know we're in the year of the rabbit, but I'm also getting pictures of the rabbit. And if you think of the rabbit, the rabbit will over register threats. The rabbit is so quick to jump and run away, excuse me, because they are low on the predator scale. They're not really a predator at all. They're very much prey. And so when they hear like a rustle, or like they hear like a rustle in the bushes, or somebody moving towards them, you could be moving towards them wanting to love on them and wanting to pet them. Oh my God, what a cute bunny. But it's like, no, predator. In their mind, it's, oh my God, this thing, this person, this whatever, it wants to hurt me, so I have to get out of this situation. And I definitely do feel like that might be the energy that you guys are leaving behind now, and the energy that you are healing consciously or subconsciously right now. And it might be, you guys might be dealing with a lot of situations that sort of trigger that, because, sorry, you guys might be dealing with a lot of situations that are triggering those wounds, and you guys could be feeling really flustered and really frustrated, really anxious, and you could feel that energy bubbling up a little bit, a lot of it. But don't worry. It's not that you guys are going backwards, and it's not that you guys are doing anything wrong. In fact, I feel like you guys are making huge steps forward, and you guys are really doing what you need to do in order to allow yourself to move forth through this. It's not about changing the past. It's not about changing maybe how you've reacted or how you've done things in the past, to the 9 of Wands, which is about fear, the 8 of Wands, which is about moving forward. It's about fast movement. So it's not about changing the past. It's about recognizing the patterns of the past and working on them so that you leave those patterns in the past, so that you do not bring those patterns with you moving forward, okay? The 8 of Wands again. What kind of feelings am I feeling right now? What kinds of metaphors can I find to describe my feelings? The 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands also sort of does remind me of the rabbit, because it's very fast paced. It's very go, 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 go. But also with the 8 of Wands, we have the 4 of Wands. So you guys are starting to, like I said, you guys are starting to let go of this need to be in survival mode. I feel like you guys are finally having that realization of certain patterns that are actually written in, or are, you know, written in, or based in survival mode. Maybe a lot of these survival mode tactics or patterns of behavior that you guys have exhibited before or continue to exhibit. I just see 2, 3, 4 on the clock. Maybe you guys didn't realize that these were survival tactics. Maybe you didn't realize that these were ego-based patterns that are just in place or put in place by your system to protect you. Maybe you didn't realize that, but lately, I either through this reading or through other things, I feel like you guys are starting to realize that maybe I don't have to act like that, or maybe I don't have to continue to you know, follow this pattern. I'm feeling for some of you, you guys have been unconsciously, subconsciously walking in somebody else's shoes. Maybe a parent, maybe a guardian, maybe a friend. You've been subconsciously walking in somebody else's shoes in certain ways, and you're starting maybe to realize where those wounds come from and why it feels maybe safe to do that. And you guys are starting to realize that, like, that you guys should just take your own approach to things. Take a new approach to things. For a lot of you, I feel like the reason why you've been stuck in these patterns is because you've been fighting your intuition. You've been fighting that feeling inside of you that says, don't say this, or don't do this, don't act like this, or this is actually okay. And your survival instinct, your trauma is like, no, don't listen to that. Don't listen to your intuition, you know? Don't open up. Don't be vulnerable. Because before that didn't work for us. Right? And you guys are finally starting to get out of this like rabbit, deer in headlights energy. And it's like now you're finally like talking back to your ego, like, listen, ego, I know you're here to protect me, but I've got this. This sort of makes me emotional. But like, I know you're here to protect me, but I got this. I know you're here. I know that this is the way that we had to react in situations before in order to be safe, but this is different. Now I can move forward slowly and surely and confidently and in a more stable energy, right? Okay, let's move on to what am I thankful for today? The King of Cups. And I was talking about vulnerability. If you guys like these cards, they're the Game of Thrones cards. Fucking love them. Fucking love them. And they picked the perfect people, perfect scenes to put on the cards. So if you like Game of Thrones, absolutely. But let's see. What am I thankful for today? Can we expand on this, please, Spirit? Okay. Five of Swords. Sorry, I know it's like really shitty lighting right now. So we have the Five of Swords. So in this Five of Swords, Bran, which is the child right here, if you can really see it, he was forced to basically surrender his like kingdom or whatever they call it. He was forced to surrender, and at the moment that was like the option that he least wanted to do, right? It was like in his mind it was like the worst thing that could have happened, right? He was already vulnerable physically, he was already vulnerable, and now he was even more vulnerable, surrendering and having to completely move out of the space that he thought was his home, that he thought was safe. But throughout his journey, after he surrenders and leaves everything that he knows behind, he gains a very different, but a very much better role for him. So I don't want to explain too much for those of you who haven't watched the Game of Thrones, but what happens is he gains this type of power, this type of insight, this type of vision, literally vision, being able to see a lot more than what he should be able to. And he ends up, you know, even though he's physically incapable of a lot because he's crippled, I don't want to say incapable, but even though he's physically constrained a little bit, mentally he is able to go anywhere, literally, because of this power that he gains. And with this Five of Swords, and on the back of the deck, Five of Swords, and on the back of the deck, the Ten of Wands, it's like you guys are sort of him in this situation. It's sort of needing to leave behind, unwillingly or maybe unwanting to, leave behind everything that you know to be true, everything that you know to be safe, in pursuit of something that you don't even know that you're looking for right now. And what I feel like Spirit is saying is that just because you're leaving behind certain things right now doesn't mean that you're losing anything. It's not a loss. Honestly, it will be a very big gain. However, you're going to need to allow yourself to do it. You're going to need to allow yourself to let go. You're going to need to allow yourself to be confident enough in yourself and your abilities and your capabilities to move forward and not fear. not fear the new road ahead, you know? Because we have the Nine of Swords, and it's in reverse. This is the only card that we have in reverse. And with the Nine of Swords being in reverse right here, with the Five of Swords upright, it's like this is going to be really hard emotionally, but physically, mentally, it's you leaving this behind, right? The Eight of Cups, you leaving this difficulty behind, or leaving this pattern behind, is ultimately going to end a lot of things for you. It's going to end a lot of shit. It's going to end a lot of shit for you, but mostly, we see the red right here, clarifying that Nine of Swords, which has this red right here in the window. It's ending long, played out cycles of your unhealed and wounded root chakra. And it's leading you to the Eight of Coins and the King of Spears. And this is where Bran gets to. That's funny, because we were just talking about Bran and how he has to leave all that shit behind. And then we have the Hermit right here, which is literally him finding, like, he's literally finding the light inside of himself. And usually the Hermit doesn't look towards the light in traditional tarot, but he is looking towards the light. And 26. But once you allow yourself to let go of this and finally step out of this situation, step out of this cycle, we have the King of Wands and the Eight of Coins. You guys are going to finally start to find that stability. You're going to finally start to work towards this, I'm hearing this happily ever after, this healthy state of being. I'm hearing a healthy relationship, but it feels more like a healthy relationship with yourself. Maybe with other people, but healthy relationship with yourself first and foremost. And it might not be an overnight fix. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but it is something that you know and you're going to feel in your heart is worth the work and worth the effort that is put into it. Okay. But yeah, let's get one card of advice. Let's get some advice. You're gonna feel tempted to quit a lot of times on this journey, because the journey towards healing, or really the healing, because the journey itself is the healing. It's the process. The process is the most important part. And that's why I feel like we kept on in the beginning of this reading, getting drawn or getting referenced to the present moment. So instead of looking at, I'm getting like a vision of somebody seeing the castle in the distance, but it seems so far away. That castle is your destination. That castle is the goal. That castle is where you want to be or who you want to be, where you know that you can get to, but it seems so far away. And on this long, tiring journey, there's going to be times where you want to just stop and give up and go back to the start, because it's so much easier over there. However, when you feel like that, allow yourself to take a break. You don't have to be perfect every moment. You don't have to push yourself to do too much. And even if you feel like maybe you're being drawn back a step, allow yourself to feel like that, and allow yourself to maybe even take a step back. This is not you like descending, right? Like, this is not you falling back into old patterns or old habits. This is you allowing yourself to heal and then sit down and regenerate, you know, because it's sort of like your stamina gets low and low and low and lower and lower. And if you keep on trying to run with no stamina, think of a video game. If you keep on trying to run with no stamina, you're going to keep on going the same speed. And the stamina is never, ever, ever going to build up unless you sit down and you allow yourself that time to reset and recalibrate. Give yourself that rest time, however much you may need. And then when you feel that stamina or that will getting back up there, then you can continue. Don't push yourself too hard, because then you're going to crash, and then you're going to be there for a lot longer than you would have liked to. And it's going to feel a lot worse than if you would have just allowed yourself that rest time. Okay? And the Queen of Cups. Make sure you're nurturing yourself. Make sure you're taking care of yourself along this journey. I know for a lot of you, it's like healing for further generations. It's healing for not just for yourself, but healing for further generations, healing for your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids' kids. It's healing generational wounds and generational trauma. And it's really important that, you know, we're doing all of this healing, yes, for ourselves, but also for these other people. But it's really important to nurture ourselves along the way. If you don't nurture yourself along the way and you're just thinking of it, like I said before in the beginning of this reading, as a job, as something that I have to do, as something that I need to do. You know, this healing shouldn't be obligatory, right? Even though it is sort of something that you need to do, it should really be something that you want to do, right? And if you're not feeling that want in a particular moment, don't force yourself to feel it, and don't look at yourself differently or look down on yourself because, oh, I'm not feeling like I want to do that right now. Sometimes we all need a fucking break, and it is okay to take that damn break, okay? Just know that when you take that break, you allow yourself that rest, that passion, that motivation, that I want to do this, it will come back to you, and it will come back to you when it needs to. So don't force it. Don't force anything, and most of all, don't force yourself. All right? Have fun along the journey. It shouldn't just all be all work, no play. All right? But that is what I have for you. I hope you guys resonated with this in some sort of way, and I'll see you guys later. Toodles.